Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted Reviews, where I take some of my favorite video games, take a video of them, and then review them without a script. Today we're taking a look at Battle for Westnorth, if the title and the name of the video wasn't a giveaway enough. So what is Battle for Westnorth? To put it briefly, it is a turn-based strategy, hex-based game. Yes, you can tell it's completely unscripted when I screw up like that. Anyways, it is a free game, and it has been around for forever. Not literally, it's an older title. It's so old that it was free to play before free to play was really a concept. Made by fans, produced by fans, developed by fans. There's a lot of fan work gone into this, a lot of passion. And you can sort of tell, if I've edited this video correctly, you should be seeing the add-ons part of the menu right about now. And there is a lot of content. There is a lot of content, from extra maps to extra campaigns to everything in between. It's insane. It's crazy how much stuff you get for $0. So I'm going to skip ahead to one of the campaigns. So campaigns come in several different flavors of difficulty. As you might imagine, you can play different factions. And here's the thing, different campaigns have different campaign lengths, so you can have really short campaigns that only go for 4 levels to big sprawling epics that go for over 20. Now the cool thing is, a lot of the characters that you can play as, their stats carry over into the next one. So even if you hire a random spearman soldier, he can level up and you can bring him into the next one for a recall price. Whenever you recruit a unit, you can either recruit them or recall them, and recruiting just gets you a default unit, whereas recalling them gets a previous one that survived in the previous level. Also, your named main characters also carry over without any cost, as you might imagine. Now, every unit is pretty unique. They all come with a randomly generated name, which you can rename, so if you have someone named Alathor, you can rename him Buttface if you want, but you can only do that to units you yourself control. Furthermore, they all have randomly generated traits. Some of them might come with quick, some of them might come with resilient, stuff like that. The really weaker, crappy units, like goblins, usually come with a flaw, so they could be dim-witted, which means they get experience slower. Now, I've already mentioned it before, but when your characters level up, instead of just getting stat upgrades, extra health, so on and so forth, they become a completely new unit, a tier above. So you know, in like Age of Empires or other RTSs, when you tier up, you stop building the previous units. In this, to get to the next tier up, you just gotta have your current unit fight a lot. You gain experience by either fighting a battle or winning one by killing the enemy. So in theory, assuming your dude has enough hit points and has survived long enough, he can level up even if he doesn't kill anything. So how do you recruit units? Well, you can't build any buildings, you can only get what you see on the map. So to get a building, you need to get your leader, which in a chess scenario would be the king. That's how I like to look at this. You get your king and put him on a little castle tile, and the little fortress tiles around them, you right click on them, in which case you get the option to recruit. So there are two main mechanics that I'd like to touch upon in Battle for Westnorth that determine your strategy in combat. The first is the type of attacks your units have. There's two main kinds. The first is ranged and the second is melee. Sounds pretty straightforward enough, right? Well, when you attack a unit, they can retaliate with the same exact kind of weapon type. However, if they don't have that kind of weapon type, your dude is free to wail on the other guy until your attack ends. So if you have an elven archer shoot a orcish swordsman, the swordsman can't retaliate. If you have the same archer with swords and attack the orcish swordsman, then he's going to get hit back by said orcish swordsman. The second important mechanic is time of day and alignments. Orcs are chaotic, and humans, well, the certain kinds of humans are lawful. During the day, lawful units get a damage buff, whereas chaotic units don't. Certain units are neutral, so depending on day of time, it doesn't really matter for the neutral units. What this means for gameplay is you'll be building up for an attack, and when the clock strikes 10, you go on a full offensive, whereas on the bad times of day, you go more defensive. And because all units retaliate when they are attacked, assuming they have the right equipment, sometimes when you're on a weaker side of things, you don't want to attack at all, because if you attack and the enemy retaliates, well, they've got a round of attacking then, and then on their turn they can attack again, essentially giving them 2 rounds worth of attacks, when you didn't even need to do that. So that's pretty much the very, very basic mechanics. There's way more stuff about Battle for West-North than that, but let's move on to the multiplayer. The multiplayer is fantastic. The favorite part about Battle for West-North, and the part I'm most nostalgic about, is the local multiplayer. I remember having this game loaded up on a laptop, going over to uni and hanging out with my friends playing Battle for West-North, yelling at each other and backstabbing alliances. You get the idea. One of the cool things you can do is you can right click an empty tile or just a normal tile and rename it, so you can give places names. I remember calling a mountain Backstab Mountain, or maybe that was my friend's name for the place. 2 guesses on why it was called Backstab Mountains, and the first 2 guesses don't count. Yes, that's how the saying goes. It's my channel, I get to make the rules. Now, for hot seat play, I do recommend playing without the Fog of War. I'm sure the recording will show Fog of War even though I'm playing against myself. This is just for demonstration purposes only. Fog of War is pretty important, and there are certain units that can stealth in certain circumstances, like the tree ants can hide in trees, so when you approach it you can't really see it. You can have skeletons walk underwater, that sort of thing. The cool thing about multiplayer is if you kill the enemy leader or your own leader is killed, you can still keep playing. I don't think you can win, I don't remember, but you can still play, you can still keep playing with the surviving units that you do have. Essentially, you're playing Kingmaker at that point, figuring out who you want to come in first place. So is it the kind of game that would be for you? And I would say yes, it's completely free on Steam. You can also go to the Battle for West-North website, the official one, run by fans. If you can, throw a few bucks at them. Like I said, they run the thing for free. I also believe there is an iOS and Android version, but I think that specific version costs money. I don't quite remember, so don't quote me on that. But otherwise, the game is fantastic. I have spent countless hours on the single player campaign, and I've spent many more in multiplayer with my friends. I've only played a few times online, and well, this being a turn-based game, it doesn't really matter in terms of latency. It's a fantastic game. Get it? You won't regret it. It's awesome. Anyways, that's my unscripted review of Battle for West-North. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and well, like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.